What's up? I'm Nita Strauss, hanging out here at Sweetwater with my beautiful new signature Jiva Jr. When we released the Jiva line of guitars, my ultimate main goal was to get an amazing playing, high quality guitar in as many guitar players' hands as possible. And that's what we did, starting out with the Jiva 10. A lot of you guys watching this probably have that guitar. And then the next logical step in the progression of the Jiva line was the Jiva Jr. And the Junior has a lot of the same specs as the Jiva 10, but it's at that more attainable price point for really as many people as possible that want to get one. So whether it's a step up from your very first entry-level guitar, if you've just always wanted a double locking trem, you want to do some fun whammy bar stuff, the Jiva Jr. is a great place to start without breaking the bank. So you've got the matching headstock, which is something I love. The neck is a Wizard 3 neck, so it's nice and fast. It's a single piece maple neck, so it's really, really easy to play, but it's also a little chunkier than the really, really super flat necks like Ibanez is known for. Especially for a newer player that's less experienced, it's got a little bit more to hold on to. The fretboard is actually still ebony, which is something I felt really, really strongly about. I didn't want to compromise on the quality. As you know, if we were going to change the price, I didn't want to compromise on the quality of the guitar. So we do still have a beautiful ebony fretboard. And it's also got my signature Beaten Path inlay. And the Beaten Path, if you notice, it looks like a heartbeat. And the reason that I came up with that was if your guitar is anything like my guitar, which if you have a Jiva, your guitar is my guitar, it has a mind of its own. It kind of does what it wants, and you're sort of almost channeling what the guitar wants to do. And what better way to illustrate that than to give your guitar a heartbeat of its own. So I love that about it. And you'll notice the EKG spikes on the fretboard actually correspond to the normal fret markers, so it's 3, 5, 7, 9, 12, and so forth. And as you get higher up the neck, the heartbeat gets faster, which I love. I could not have planned that any better. It literally just goes where the dots go on the fretboard. But I love that as you get up where the soloing starts, the heartbeat starts to speed up. It's kind of a fun feature. Moving on down the guitar, you have the Ibanez Quantum pickups. I find these pickups, honestly, to be really underrated. I have used these as a basis for designing my signature pickup, actually. There's a lot of different elements that went into the design of my signature DiMarzia pickups. And the Quantums were actually a big part of that design process because they're really punchy, they're really clear, they can do rock and metal really well, they can do blues really well, they can do clean tones really well like jazz. So they're just really nice, versatile pickups in, of course, your humbucker, single humbucker configuration. The pickups work on a 5-way switch. So you have your bridge pickup, bridge split with single coil on its own, single coil split with the neck, and finally the neck position on its own. The bridge here is the Edge 02 trem, very much like its predecessor, the original Edge 0. Has all the same functionality, has the collared whammy bar, which is important because if you see me play this bridge, I will pick the whole guitar up by the bar and shake it around like a crazy person. And if you don't have a collared whammy bar, you're going to be left with your guitar in your lap, which is not fun on stage. It has the collared bar, has the same responsiveness as the original Edge 0. It flutters beautifully, so you can get those really, really cool effects with it. As well as your typical dive bombs and harmonics and squeals, and just between the double locking bridge, it stays in tune beautifully. You have the input jack here on the front of the guitar where you plug your cable in. This is something I get asked about all the time, why the choice to put the input jack on the front and not on the side of the guitar. And it's actually a really simple answer. The S series is so thin and light that there's literally no way to route an input jack through the side. It just can't be done. Myself, I actually prefer it on the front like that, and the reason is on the side, it does tend to loosen a little bit more. You know, you're moving around on stage, and sometimes the cable will get a little loose on the side. So I actually find it to be a little bit more secure on the front. And then finally, since we're going top to bottom, you'll notice that this guitar does have a signature on it, and that's because this is one that they're actually going to use for a giveaway here at Sweetwater. They do not all come signed, but if you ever bring one to a show or a clinic of mine, I'll sign it for you. So best of both worlds. Jiva Jr. body is made out of Marante, which is really similar in tone to mahogany. It's actually considered a mahogany wood. Tonally, if you've played a Jiva 10, it's very, very similar in tone to Jiva Jr. And the top is quilted maple in what I affectionately call a beach burst. It's technically called deep sea blonde. We have Jiva 10 in deep space blonde, which is the black to blonde, and now Jiva Jr. in deep sea blonde, which is black to blue to the blonde natural maple. And I chose this pattern and this design because I wanted something that reminded me of myself. You know, the Jiva guitars are sort of an extension of my personality. I'm from Santa Monica, California. I grew up going to the beach, and I just wanted the sort of deep ocean moving into the blue waves on the beach, moving into the golden sand of sunny Southern California. So that's where we came up with the concept for the Beach Burst and what would eventually become the deep sea blonde finish of Jiva Jr. So that, in a nutshell, is the Jiva Jr. I would love it if you guys go and try one out for yourselves. You can find them at Sweetwater. You can pick the exact guitar out that you want on the website. If you do get one, please write to me on social media and let me know what you think. I love hearing what you guys think about these guitars. And of course, you can always find it at sweetwater.com or call your sales engineer.